We will continue our availability now with Clint Bowyer, driver of the number 15 5-Hour Energy Toyota. Clint, a little bit of homecoming for you coming into Kansas, 8th in points. Talk a little bit about coming into the weekend.
Yeah, it's been a good week for me personally. It's been a tough week, for our country, but it's good to be back here in Kansas. I wish the weather was a little bit better. It seemed like I went from Texas to Oklahoma to Kansas, and it just kept getting worse the farther north I went, as the week progressed. But, that's what we love about Kansas. She can give you a good day and turn around and give you a bad one, and halfway through the day it can turn out good again. I mean, you just never know about Kansas. But it feels good to be home. Looking forward to seeing how fast these cars go on this paved racetrack. I think they've been setting track record speeds everywhere we've been. I think it's going to get our attention this morning, especially with this cool weather.
Okay, we'll start our first question with Randy over here to the right.
Here you were going on some test rides this past week at the Autoplex. How many cars did you sell? What was that like?
Sold several, but personally, I sold one. I'm one and done. I've sold my one vehicle, and they informed me I didn't do a very good job if we wanted to stay in business. So I'm going to leave that up to the professionals that know how to sell cars. But it was fun. I told the guy, I said, we're going to have to get through this together. But had a lot of fun. It meant a lot to me to be able to lean on, peers. My teammate Mark Martin showed up. It's just incredible when you're sitting here, your childhood heroes, DW is sitting there next to you in your hometown. Mark Martin sitting next to you. Michael Waltrip. Just meant a lot to me to have those guys there to help and support me. So a good day yesterday, and looking forward to a good weekend here at home.
The person who you rode with, was he or she kind of intimidated by you?
No. I've known him for years. It was Dennis Murphy. He helped me, from throughout my whole racing career. So it was interesting. It was funny.
Okay, we'll take our next question here to the left, right here.
We just talked to Jimmy about the penalties this week, and there's been talk about people turning people in with the changes that Penske used. How does MWR, if you guys spot something on another team, Jimmy said that Hendrick likes to just go outperform them, and they don't really go to NASCAR and talk about discrepancies they see from other teams. Does MWR take the same approach, and do you think that's the right way to do it?
I don't know. Who cares how you get caught? If you're cheating, if you're doing wrong, it doesn't matter what you're doing. It's wrong. You're going to get caught. Doesn't matter what you're doing in life or whether you're in a sporting event or everyday life. If you're cheating, you're eventually going to get caught. And, we're seeing a lot of that this week.
We'll take our next question here in the middle from Stan.
Stan Creekmore with RPM tonight, Clint. From a driver perspective, how deeply informed are you of what's actually going on in the construction of the car? Because oftentimes, while most don't see it, the penalty that may go against the driver just is because you might have received from some benefit from what someone else did. So how deeply involved are you?
Well, you're as involved as you need to be. I think you can be, I know I can be involved too much to the depth where I'm worrying about things that I shouldn't be worried about. I'm opinionated about things that I shouldn't have an opinion on. And there's guys that are, extremely intelligent that work day in and day out on those specific things. I focus on driving a car and holding the steering wheel, hitting my marks. I don't need to be, for me, I don't need to be focused on, what setups under the car and why. I need to know that it's fast when it unloads, and when it is, I stay out of their way. Obviously, if there's something in there that's pushing the envelope, my crew chief, Brian Patty, people within the organization, if you've got things that are close, but I've never had things knowingly that was out of bounds that you were like, you knew about, especially for, a great period of time.
Okay, we'll take our next question in the back from Tom, then come up to Brian.
Clint, how do you look at your outlook for this weekend's race? How do you feel about this track?
About the racetrack? I couldn't hardly hear you. Love it. I think my chances? They're good. They better be good. I wouldn't be here if they weren't decent. I'm just looking forward to getting things back underway. On a serious note, I was off last weekend. We were off as a race team. Truex was very fast, and Mark and I struggled pretty bad all weekend long for 3 days. Kind of concerns you going into a track that's been somewhat good to you and you've run well at, but more importantly, it's home and it's important to you to run well. Had a great meeting Monday. Saw some things that were making sense, as to reasons why we were off, and I think we've got a good game plan going into to this race. Just so much fun to come back here. I'm very proud of this racetrack. I'm proud of the area. I say this every year. I saw what this area was before and what's become of Wyandotte County because of this racetrack is it's incredible. This is a destination now, and it was, back in the day, it was a place you didn't want to be. You got off on the wrong exit, and it's a neat facility. It's a destination and an attraction here that's brought a lot of neat things, businesses, restaurants, shopping malls, sporting complexes, other sporting complexes, casino. I mean, it's all within walking distance of the racetrack. It's pretty cool.
Okay, we'll go Brian, Jeff, and then Melinda.
Brian Nelson, Motor Racing Network. Clint, last year during the race, there were a bunch of engine problems, and it's my understanding that could be tied to the cold weather that we had last year during the race as well. So I'm curious if that's been something, as you've kind of built a strategy for the weekend, you've discussed heading into a cold weather weekend, and can you give us a little insight about how temperamental the engines may be when it comes to the weather?
It's primo, air, all you're getting all of it, when the weather conditions are like this. Those engines are running extremely efficient and pushing the envelope even that much more. Yes, these conditions, not to mention the speeds. Now your grip levels are higher, you're going to go faster, and you're pushing those things even to higher extremes. So it's just all together, the whole package of those cooler temperatures is, hard on those engines, and you're asking a lot out of them. So it's part of these bigger racetracks. Our TRD program has been strong, won a lot of races here, and hopefully we can win another one with our car.
Okay, we'll take our next question from Jeff, then go back to Melinda.
Hey, Clint, Jeff Hood of RacingToday.com. Just wanted to ask you, with this being a home race, do you get bombarded with a lot of area media requests, your family, friends wanting passes or tickets, and how much of a distraction can that be?
Well, it is, but it's healthy. It's fun to have a following the way you do, the way I have here. My hometown, literally half my hometown comes up here to watch the race. The Kansas City area, a lot of family and friends. It's just important. It's the one, twice a year, obviously, that I get to see those people and spend some time with them. So, it is a lot of work, but it's important to you. This is my opportunity to see all those guys, and you just don't have those every week. So, it's a good weekend. It's a fun weekend, but you're wore out by the time it's done.
All right, we'll take our question in the back from Melinda.
Hey, Clint, Melinda Adams, ESPN. Just wondering your thoughts on the Boston situation, and now that it has directly, touched the NASCAR family with the Hendrick person, just wondering what your thoughts have been this week.
It's touched everybody, all week long. It's just it's a tragedy, and it's a shame that these things keep happening. It's very, very sad. Everybody's been thinking about it. I'm proud that Michael come up with the idea to put the Boston Marathon pennants or whatever you call them on our cars for our numbers. I thought it was a great way to say we're thinking about them and we're along with them. Everybody's been following this, and it affects everybody. And now to hear about the Hendrick organization, the Hendrick family, it's sad. It's been a tough week for all of us following this mess. And then, all the families affected down there in Texas. That was another, crazy incident that's happened down there, and just it's been a sad week.
Okay, I think we got a question here to the left in the back, and then one, Nate.
Hey, Clint, Jason from Fox 4 here in town. Mine's just really a follow-up. I generally have a real hard time focusing on my own job, and especially with all this stuff that's going on right now in Boston and trying to follow the coverage. Do you find yourself trying to, Wayne, what's the latest, what's going on, and will it be at all hard, I guess, for you to concentrate on today and the weekend?
It's difficult. I mean, the Twitter world has really brought a lot of positive things, to us and society and everything else. I mean, I've seen a couple, some bad things that it's brought this week, and we gotta continue to learn from those things. But for me personally, I've had a lot going on this week, and I've been able to keep in touch with what's going on, keep up to date with what's going on because of Twitter, and I'm glad that we have that and today. But we gotta use it appropriately, and we've made some mistakes this week as well. So but all in all, I'm glad that I have that because of that, staying focused and staying up to date with what's going on. I mean, you just our media does a great job of covering this sport. For the most part, the media's done a great job of covering what's been going on this week.
Okay, Nate, did you have a question?
Nate Ryan, USA Today Sports. Clint, looking at how Sunday's race might play out, I know that California, Vegas, Texas, those put on good side-by-side racing, but that also there was a lot of tire wear there, and I would expect here, are you expecting there'll be virtually no tire wear because it's the second race on a new surface, and how do you think that might change the style of racing Sunday?
Well, we've definitely, I think we're on to something there with this tire wear and seeing the fall off and seeing, good racing. It's always a learning situation when you have new cars, you have repaves and things like that. There's a lot of roadblocks that you run into while NASCAR is trying to create a great racing environment for our fans, especially on these newer, paved tracks. Yes, we want the tires to wear out. We see the significance of that. We see the impact it's making in the racing, but you can't have them blowing out and being dangerous too. It's just a continuing process of learning, and these tire tests that you always hear us do. I mean, they're going to good use. We're seeing, putting a good product on the racetrack, but I think, still got room to improve. Saw they were down because of Twitter. I saw them down in Daytona this week, and working on those things. They're just continuing to improve, but I'm telling you, we got the cat by the tail. Things are going good. The racing is primo. You're back to smiling in a race car and on these bigger racetracks and laughing about what's going on. You see people, getting agitated with one another. I mean, that's healthy in any kind of sport, and it's because of good side-by-side quality racing on the racetrack. When you have those kind of races going on, within the program, we slip up and get into each other and causes mayhem. So it's been good. But to answer your question, what to expect here? That's kind of what's been cool about this year. I don't know what to expect, and I don't think you can write a story on what to expect, yet, because it just seems like it's kind of thrown us for a different scenario almost every week. But it's been a pretty wild ride.
Any final? Okay, Randy, last question. Let's get it. Yeah, we'll get a mic to you.
Oh.
Randy Kovitz, Kansas City Star again. Just following up on the Penske stuff. A couple years ago, the New Hampshire incident you guys ran into. You were docked points, etc. Richard was fine. Do you commiserate at all with what's happened with the Penske team?
No. No, mine was off I think it was a 60,000th of an inch, and it was a frame rail. I don't see how that was, blatant and would change a significant amount of anything, as would, moving rear end. It's pretty helpful when those things are skewed out. We've learned, and if you could possibly get them skewed out any farther, life is pretty happy.
Clint, thank you for your time today. Good luck this weekend.